Hello, lovely souls. Thank you for joining me live and on replay. Hope you're all well. I've come on today to talk to you about the Great Awakening. And this Great Awakening is your awakening. The Great Awakening, signs of spiritual awakening, what to expect, signs, support, abundance, and more. So I'm going to cleanse this sacred space that we share together, filling it with love, with light, with abundance of all good things, and asking Archangel Michael to come in fully, to hold the space with us, to protect us, and to support us in receiving exactly what we're meant to receive here today, and to support us in releasing what we are meant to be releasing here today as we talk together and join together in this sacred space, and to support us in embodying even more of our true divine love and light, our true divine soul essence. So there's many things that I'm wanting to talk to you about, and the Great Awakening seemed very important and extremely relevant at this time and space. I was thinking about my spiritual journey and how I started to awaken, although what I'm understanding is that I was always very aware of spirit, of heaven, of the etheric, of the ether, of the other planes. I was very aware of that, and a big part of that was because my mother, bless her, who is now in the ether, who is now energy and watching over me and my family, she was very spiritual, and she came into this world also being very spiritual and being very sensitive, very intuitive, very empathic. And me also very intuitive, insensitive, empathic, and just knowing that there was more to life than what we see with our physical eyes, more to our existence than what we see with our physical eyes. Energy, the big thing of energy and how everything is energy, and seeing and sensing and feeling different energies out there in the ether, feeling and sensing different energies, and knowing that what we see purely with our physical eyes is not the entirety. It is not the pure truth. It is part of our experience and part of who we are as we live our life, our soul, in this beautiful physical body that we have now on this earth plane. So I was very fortunate and very blessed, and chose to go into a family where someone there was very spiritual, and who I was going to connect with, and who I had a soul family link with, and who I had shared other lifetimes, I believe, with. And it was just all very natural to me. But what I am seeing, what I am finding and noticing and understanding, is that some people are waking up to their spiritual consciousness, their spiritual existence, who they truly are on that soul level. And they don't always have someone close to them in their family or in their soul family, friends, that they can talk to and that they can relate to, and relates to them and understands them fully on that level. I certainly would say that there were aspects of my childhood and growing up that were challenging, but one aspect that I held with my mother was that real deep spiritual understanding and connection, which was so special and precious. So I was very blessed with that, and obviously chose that before I came into this lifetime, which I think is a great support to have. But these are some of the things that you will feel deeply, or may feel deeply, as you start opening up to your great awakening, your spiritual path and awakening within. And these are things that you may feel very called to do. You may feel that you want to do these things very, very strongly. And I want to give you, it's at 10 or more points 10 or more pointers of how you might feel and how you may want to embody more of these points to feel more fully present in your deep divine spiritual being, and to let you know that this is all very natural and very normal, if we want to use that word in inverted commas, but all very natural and all part of the journey. So I'm going to relate my experiences in with this. And on your journey, as you walk through and explore your spiritual journey and divine essence, your own personal quest, you may find that you do want to go within and connect so fully with your spiritual support team, your higher knowing, your higher wisdom, and you may physically want to take yourself almost on a quest or a journey, like a lovely long walk in the countryside. Some may call to go traveling even, you know, it could be something. For me, at one stage, I was called to go out into nature and to explore and to walk areas I hadn't walked before that were near where I was living at the time. And it felt a very unique, deep spiritual quest and wonderful journey for me, where I was embodying more of my spiritual knowledge and wisdom, connecting more fully with my divine essence and my spiritual team. And you may well feel called to go out, to explore, to go on this journey of enlightenment, so to speak. And perhaps doing this on your own. It was very much something that I did on my own. I took myself out into the wilderness, if you like. It was a safe wilderness, across fields. I journeyed across fields. I went to areas I hadn't been before. And it was a beautiful exploration. It was a beautiful remembering, getting downloads, insights, understandings, rememberings of who I truly am, and at that time, who I truly was on a soul level. And I'd gone through many aspects of soul awakening. Some people have these, what they call dark nights of the soul. And I realized that I had had some of these really difficult, deep challenges. And that is what people are referring to when they say that. And they had supported me, if you like, eventually getting on to deeper spiritual quests of my own. So you may feel very called to journey within, to find your true divine essence, and to physically journey out in your environment, or to go traveling, or to go on a holiday, or be called to go to the sea. And all of these beautiful spaces that we find ourselves in nature are such an integral part of the web of consciousness, and they support us in opening up to our true divine spiritual nature. And as part of that, the remembrance of what we are here on earth to do, what we've signed up to before entering this physical realm, for example. So you may have that preference to spend time on your own. You may have that preference to dive deeply into acknowledging and to working with and to telepathically speaking to your spiritual counsel, your guides, your angels, your loved ones in spirit. You may find at this time you are receiving a lot more downloads and information and messages. You may start thinking that you're going a little bit crazy even, but it's not crazy. I use that word because people seem to think they're going crazy, because they'll say things like, God, I started seeing things, or I thought I saw might be your mother or someone who's in spirit, or I started seeing ghosts. And yes, this is what happens when we start opening up our spiritual channels, when we start having that deep love and trust and faith in ourselves and our spiritual nature, and start clearing away the limiting beliefs, the self-sabotaging behaviors, and the family programming, ancestral programming, religious programming that has been detrimental, if you like, that's been negative. This is what starts to happen as we step through the 3D earthly illusions, through relationships that are karmic, we step through those, we release those, and we step more fully into our full divine power. And we start opening up our psychic channels. We start seeing with our third eyes, our third eye more fully. We start seeing with our human eyes more fully and truthfully. We start hearing on a different level. We start sensing and feeling more fully and intuitively and knowingly. All of these types of aspects come into play. It is very beautiful. It is absolutely magical. It is awesome. But if you have never been aware of this, accessed it, known it, or had any understanding of it before, or known anybody that has, then I understand that this could be a little bit strange. It could be a little bit of a shock, couldn't it? For some people, and I know that it does frighten some people, but when you understand the spiritual truths that we are all energy, that we are all soul, that we have all come into this physical being, it's been our choice to incarnate in this earthly body in this lifetime at this moment in time on the earth plane, and that we are energy, we are always energy, and we have this beautiful experience now of experiencing the physical world and doing the things that we signed up to do, that we wanted to do, that we wanted to embody, that we wanted to achieve, that we wanted to experience in this lifetime. It is so empowering and it is really magical. So you might find that all these senses are coming into play more fully. And when I say about, I'm looking at my notes here because I've written so much down, but I feel it's really important because for those of you that are stepping more fully onto your journey now, and this is all new to you, this is going to really, really be supportive. It's going to be helpful. It's going to be encouraging. It's going to be loving. It's going to be empowering. And that's really important. So when we're in that super beautiful environment and we're meditating or we're in that sacred space and we're very fully present in our higher knowing, heart-centered, connected with the divine, connected with our spiritual team, we can get so much from this, and we feel fully seen, fully heard, fully loved, fully acknowledged. And this can be a very different feeling to how we feel when we're on the earthly 3D plane, surrounded by people that are still stuck in that earthly, the 3D earthly fear, doubts, anger, sadness, but really kind of embodying that and kind of feeling deflated by it. So this is a very different environment. This is very uplifting. This is about the soul level. This is about the pure love and light that we have within us, and that we are, and that God sources, and that we connect to when we're in this sacred space. And we try and hold this. We try and hold this love and light and this feeling throughout the day, throughout the weeks, the months, and the years. And that's why we regularly connect and do our meditations and our rituals and so on. But it's easy to get off kilter, to be knocked off course with things that are happening in the 3D earthly world. Sometimes the drama and the different things that kind of take over and start dictating when we take our foot off of the spiritual pedal, so to speak, and lose our balance a little bit. So we can feel so fully seen and heard that we want to spend more and more time with our spiritual counsel, with our spiritual team, with our loved ones in the spiritual realm. And don't worry about that. That is fine. That is how we can feel sometimes, because we're getting so much love and light and energy and support from them that we are so supported, and we can step more fully into our higher knowing on this earthly realm. We can support ourselves more fully in this earthly realm, our loved ones, and you may even feel that call to step into a more soul aligned business, because that's something else that happens when we get really, really centered and focused. But please remember, you have chosen to come into this earthly realm. You've chosen to live this beautiful earthly lifetime on this beautiful earth planet, the riches that it has, the beautiful nature and the seas and the trees and the opportunities and the abundance. You've chosen to come in and incarnate in this lifetime at this exact time. And if you're watching here, then you are meant to be here watching this, and you're obviously meant to be here on the earth plane. And you are most likely, if you're watching this with me, a light worker or equivalent, a star being that has come in and incarnated, a way shower, to support others in your peripheral, others in your family dynamic, others in your soul family that you're connecting with here to grow and flourish spiritually as well. You have a purpose. You are divine. You are unique. You are loved. When we tap into that beautiful spiritual realm that is always inside us, that we are and that we are a part of God's source, it is us, it is within us, it is around us. We feel that beauty, we feel that love, that acceptance, we feel fully seen and heard, and this is such an important thing. And so you will most likely want to, and I would impress upon you, to do a regular routine of meditations, of healing yourself, of working through things that you're acknowledging that aren't serving you, releasing them, and so on. That's a whole topic in itself, and something that you can join me for on my weekly lives. And you could also join me for spiritual circles that I'm now doing, and you could also work with me on a one-to-one basis. There's loads of options if you feel called. So when this happens to us and we step onto our beautiful spiritual journey, this great awakening, it's like a light switches on even more fully. It's like a beacon, and it's shining so bright, and it's almost like it's pulsing, and it's calling out to all those other soul families out there, that soul family that we resonate with. So we are calling in other like-minded people, because when we start on this journey, we often feel that we are not so connected with many of the people and friends that we have had, because if they're not awakening and not a spiritual type of person, if they haven't found that within them, refound it, remembered it, then we can feel quite disconnected to that. So what you'll find is, as you embark on your spiritual journey, your soul family will start coming in. You will be calling in your soul family at that soul level. You're intuitively doing it. It's like you're a beacon of energetic light, and it's like this lasso almost, and it's pulling these beautiful other soul aligned family energies into your life. I could use an example of about 1.5 years ago. I stepped into an SSU course, Soul Success Unleashed, with Jen Gilchrist, who's brilliant. And through that course, and I'm still doing things with Jen, she's absolutely brilliant, and I love tapping into what she's doing and working with her in that way of learning and growing from her as well. And I have met so many soul aligned family through that, and we connect regularly, we support and grow together, and we raise our vibrations together, and we heal the collective and the earth energies together. And this is really powerful, because sometimes you can feel alone. Sometimes you can feel isolated. There have been times where I've felt a little bit isolated, and I haven't been able to have many connections out there with other deeply spiritual people who were awakening. Like I say, I was very fortunate because my mum was very spiritual. She was very intuitive. She was very clairvoyant. She would often see spirits and things. But she passed away 7 years ago. So I don't have her on earth now. So that's a bit different. But I've connected over the years with lots of other like-minded spiritual people. And the more I've stepped out and been true to myself and embodied more of my divine spiritual essence of who I truly am, and lived the life that I signed up to live, to supporting others as well on their spiritual journey, the more I have called people in who are beautiful, spiritual, enlightened beings who are on their journey as well. Different parts of the journey. Some just stepping on it, some way down the road, been on it 30, 40 years. It's all different. Everyone's different. We're all at the place we're meant to be. We're all where we're at. And we are all starting from that point of where we are at. And we are now together stepping on this beautiful spiritual journey. You may feel a deep desire and need to change jobs, to have something more fulfilling. You may have a deep desire and need to change the relationships in your life, whether they be with friends or whether they be on an intimate sexual relationship type level. You may feel the need to either change what you currently have if that's not working for you, if you're finding that those relationships are more karmic relationships and holding you stuck, stagnant, fearful, sad, etc. Or you may just feel that you are embarking on this spiritual journey, and, for example, your other half will start seeing that you're doing that, and they may start doing the same, or it doesn't matter if they don't and you are in a really loving relationship anyway. It's different for everybody, but I'm putting these points out there because if these scenarios happen to you, you might think, oh my goodness, I feel different. Everything's changing. You will feel a bit different in some ways, but you're actually feeling more like you. And things will change because you're no longer accepting the things that you used to accept. So the limiting beliefs, any self-sabotaging behaviors, any ancestral programming that's not healthy, any family or societal programming that's been holding you back, stagnant, stuck, even, you will be releasing. And any karmic relationships on the level of unhealthy healing agreements, they can sometimes be called. And these come into play when you have a relationship with someone, and you would probably say that you both loved each other, whether it's friendship or deeper than that on a more intimate level, but that all you seem to do is hurt each other. All you seem to do is sabotage each other, if you like. I hope that makes sense. These are unhealthy healing agreements. They're unhealthy karmic patterns. And if you are in this, you will, when you step on your spiritual journey, you will be supported by your spiritual team and the people that you work with on a spiritual level. For example, if you were to work with me or whoever you signed up to work with or whatever you do, to support you in releasing those. And like I mentioned before, you may be called to swap in the job you have for more of your divine purpose work. So it might be that you're doing an office role at the moment that you feel is, or perhaps holding you back, or it's boring, it's brain numbing, it's, you know, you don't like it very much, but it's bringing the money in, and you're like, right, I'm going to take the step now. You'll probably continue with what you're doing if you financially need the money for the moment. And then you will start working towards this new business that you want to set up. And you can start setting that up alongside what you're doing. So the call for purpose work is strong often with us light workers, with us star seeds, etc., way showers. And what you may find, something I found very much so, it was very much part of my journey, was a change to your eating habits, a change to what you were eating. For example, you may feel a desire to give up caffeine, sugar, meat, dairy, other things. If you drink alcohol, you may feel a desire to give it up. If you smoke, you may feel a desire to give it up. And of course, that would be something that would be really encouraged with things like smoking, because we know the damage that it does to us, and alcohol to a large degree. And that comes into play also with triggers. So often, if we've been triggered, if we're having a stressful day, a stressful week, if we've seen something very upsetting happen on the news or something like that, then we can go, oh my God, this is like, it's overload. I can't cope with this energy. You know, you've taken on that energy, and you do have to keep, that's another thing, boundaries and protections. But you've taken on perhaps too much of other people's stuff out in the collective, people that you know, whatever it is. And you've got to release it. But what you can do, until you know how to use these tools, or learn these tools, relearn these tools, remember these tools, is you can go straight to the fridge. Oh my God, I need whatever it is. You know, people will just reach out for something that they crave because they can't deal with the emotion. This is a trigger, and this is showing you an aspect that you need to acknowledge and look at in order to release, so that you're not held in that karmic repeating pattern. So I hope that makes sense. We could go so deeply on all of these, but what I really want to do is get out these, it's 10 or more, it's definitely 10 or more. I wanted to have a number. Self-care. You'll start making self-care a priority. You start realizing that your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health is of the utmost importance. And when you're in a healthy space, you can be of more help and love to others. You can give more love and support to others, because us light workers usually want to do that. So I wanted to put that in. Another really big one. You want to learn. You are like a sponge right now. You want to soak up everything that's going, every freebie that's going on workshops, on lives. You want to jump into every course that is running. You know, you want to pay for these courses and be doing them all. Okay, you want to be reading every book that you can find that resonates for you. This is how you're feeling. You want to find all of these soul aligned, like-minded spiritual people, and you just want to talk to them, and you want to learn, and you want to grow, and you want to support others. This is how you feel when you embark on your spiritual journey. And it's like there's not enough hours in the day to learn, but there is. Just be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself. You have got time, you've got universal lifetimes, like you've got infinite time, because we are infinite energy. But I get it, you're in this lifetime, you're waking up. You might be in your 30s, your 40s. Some people might be older when they start waking up and remembering, and they're like, oh my goodness, why hadn't I done this before? That's another one us spiritual people get. We're like, oh my goodness, when I had that awakening before, why didn't I do it then? Or when I, why didn't that make me think of, oh gosh, I need to step more fully into my spiritual awakening path? Well, you're doing it, and you do it at the time that's right for you. You do it when you're ready. There is no rush. There is no competition. This is about you and your soul. And this is about your soul spiritual progression, okay? But you will want to learn. And I really encourage that. I so encourage that. I mean, I'm teaching things to others. I'm also learning from others with courses. I'm reading. I'm often on the net and looking at what's out there, and I'm downloading, channeling from my guides, from galactic beings, from the angels, from unicorns and dragons. And that might sound really out there to people that aren't doing this work right now, but believe me, it will come, or similar. So it's really, really powerful. But you will just want to learn, and just enjoy it. Do the things you want to do the courses that you want to do, read the books you want to read. You'll find the time. If you want to, you will find that time, and speak with your guides and ask them to support you in making more time allowance for you to do that. Plus, one other thing, really, really important also on the learning. We do a lot of learning in our sleep. We get a lot of downloads. We get a lot of channeling in our sleep. Our dreams are often more than dreams. We can go astral traveling on the astral plane. And so what we are experiencing is like another dimension. We're in our soul body, in our soul. We're not in our physical being at that point. It's all really amazing, all really interesting. These are all points that you will come across and learn about as you embark on your spiritual journey. These are getting quite deep. This won't be where everyone is at, but this will be what some people are aware of and doing. But even if you're not aware that you're doing it, you probably are. And it's all very exciting. And always know you've got your spiritual team, your guides, your angels, etc., all beings of light that are here for you to support you. So if you want to step more fully into something, if you want to hear your guides more fully, if you want to see them more fully, just reach out to them and ask them in love and light to come in more fully, so that you can hear and see them in love and light, in a way that is going to be loving and supportive and helpful for you. You'll know the right words. So I'm just catching up on what I'm giving you here. You will want to keep away from noise. You will not want to be in loud spaces with loads of noise and loads of unhealthy energy, if you like, heavy energy, toxic energy. You will want to be away from that, and you will want to be raising your vibe. You will be wanting to raise your vibe with other spiritual loving beings or other light beings. They might not be that much on the spiritual path, but other loving beings that are high vibe. And that is something that you will notice. And that's where some of the friendships that you have had, you still love your friend, but it might release fully the relationship, or it might be that you don't see that person so fully. Relationships change when you step into your power more fully and you see the divine truth of matters. It does change things. But those that are meant to stay in your world for this moment will, and those that are meant to go out of it for the time being will. Don't be afraid. Step into it fully with love and light and faith and trust. It's really exciting times. So many people are going to start stepping into your life. And if you're on this journey and you've been on it a while, you're going to know it, and you can maybe put in the comments, yeah, I've experienced that. But you're all at different stages. We're all at different stages in this beautiful melting pot of love and light and spirituality, if you like. So there are going to be times where the relationships kind of fade away more and new people step in who are soul tribe as well, who are more aligned to you and your energy at this point in time. And it's a gentle, accepting, loving, peaceful energy. It's that high vibe that you get and that you know that other person gets when they're with you. It's very healthy, like spiritual health, spiritual, mental, physical, emotional health. Something that I've noticed, and I wanted to bring it up, but it's a whole topic in itself, is you're going to start getting more signs, okay? And some of these signs might come in as fears and anxieties of things, and you don't understand why you've got these fears and anxieties to things that are coming in on this earthly plane. Typical ones that people can experience are fears of spiders, fears of being in small places, confined spaces, okay? So you're going to start probably getting these things coming in, and it's going to come in, you're going to think about it, and it's going to worry you. You're going to think, oh my goodness, I don't feel comfortable, I don't like thinking about that. Don't worry. This is being put to you because, one, you're open to it now. You're ready to receive this information. And what I have found on all of these things that have come in, it's not a fear of spiders for me, but other things. They've come in, they've triggered me. And as I've gone through my spiritual journey, I've understood that I had experienced those persecutions or those challenges in other lifetimes, okay? And often they can be called past lives. Often they can be called karmic lifetimes. When we say past lifetimes, time's a funny old thing, because in consciousness, etheric, God source consciousness, there is no such thing as time. Everything's happening simultaneously, but that is really hard to get your head around. So don't fear the fears in the way that you have, because actually when these fears come in and trigger you, it's a remembering, usually it is for me anyway, of past experiences that have been challenging, and that I have got a lot of karmic energy tied up with that I've needed to release, because they are still affecting me hundreds of years later in this physical realm. That's a whole new topic. It's one that I talk about with clients. If this is calling you and you want to work further with me, you want to do any one-to-one work, reach out, because I do one-to-one sessions. They start at £65 an hour. Well, it's not an hour, it's £65 a session. It's usually around an hour, but you can sign up for a whole set of sessions and get it at a special price. And oh yeah, also with that, I'm doing like a gift now as well. So if you sign up for a set of 6 sessions with me, and it works out £55 an hour for a session, rather than £65 for a session, which, like I say, is normally about an hour for the session. But it's more the session rather than the time, if that makes sense. Then I'm giving a small, well, I say small, it's small in size, but it's a lovely gift as well. So that, I think, is really precious as well. It's really lovely and it's unique to the person. So don't worry about any of these fears and anxieties and triggers. Like I say, we can work through all of this. This is all stuff that you can work through with a spiritual coach, with someone like myself, or you might already have one already, or you might find your guides are supporting you fully enough at this present time. But just reach out on anything if you want to, whether it's a question, whether it's to find out more about the circles that I offer, whether it's the one-to-one stuff, whether it's the courses, whatever it is, just reach out if you want to. Hello, Sheila. Hello, hello, hello. It's lovely that you're here. So if you're just joining, I mustn't lose my place. This is about the Great Awakening and the signs of spiritual awakening, and what to expect, the signs, the support, and the abundance and more that comes in as you start awakening. So we've gone through a lot. So do catch up. If you've just come in, do catch up on what we've been talking about, or what I've been talking about at the beginning. And I'm just going to find my place. So you are also most likely going to feel called to be around animals and your pets more, because pets are so intuitive. They feel the energy around them. They feel your energy. They know how you're feeling before you say a word, and they understand you on an energetic level. And as souls, that's how we interact on a soul level. But as soul and human body, of course, we have an added advantage of being able to speak. But often what comes out of our mouth is not as true as what the signs are coming out of our energetic body. You know, someone can ask us, are we okay? And we say, oh yeah, I'm really good. But our body's saying different. So that's interesting. That's a whole new thing as well. And something that, you know, we talk about. If you join me on other things, we're talking about energy all the time. You know, you'll also be called to go out in nature more and more and more. If you're here now and you're listening to this, there are going to be like gold nuggets of information for you. And if you're here connecting with me and feel that soul connection with me, you are, I would say, going to have a huge connection to Mother Earth, to the trees, to the flowers, to all the plants, to the grass, to the sea, incredibly so, the sea, the mountains, oh, everything. You're going to have a real love and connection to the butterflies, the bees. And if you're very like my energy, basically to all animals, you're going to find the messages from the animals. Every time you walk out in nature and you see a specific animal, you're going to know that that has a message for you, and you're going to be able to tap into this more fully and work with these totem spiritual animal energies as well that are coming forward for you. And I'm talking about when you take a step out in nature and you see a physical earthly creature, let's say a fox, and you might not normally see a fox, and that has got a message, a deep healing message of wisdom for you. So you're going to be really called to do that, and that is really going to empower you. It's going to support you. All of this is going to support you in stepping more fully into your intuition, your higher knowing. It's going to support you big time with grounding when you go outside. So this is all very powerful. It's all very transformational in a really beautiful, positive way. And you're going to feel called, I believe, to a lot of this. It might not be every single one of these points I'm pointing out, my 10 or more, which is way more than 10. It's probably 20 or more. But yeah, that's how it is. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful transformation. I've covered a few of these already, so I'm just going to just go through a few more. Oracle cards, crystals, what I might term spiritual energetic tools, which are beautiful. You're going to feel called to these. You're going to feel more and more called to these the more you go on your journey. Remember, we talked about you're going to want to learn. You're going to want to sign up to every workshop, every course, read every book. You're going to want to reach out to everyone and spread the word. You're going to be so empowered and so full of this love and this light and this energy. And you're going to probably want to embark on some oracle cards, some crystals. There'll be other things. You know, maybe a drum, maybe a crystal singing bowl. Here we go. And let's just clear this beautiful energy again. But it feels so high vibrational at the moment. It feels so high vibrational. So these spiritual tools, now, these spiritual tools in themselves have an energy. They have a consciousness, if you like crystals have a consciousness, if you like. But it's your consciousness, energy, and power that you are using when you use these. You're embodying that, and you're like co-creating with the energies of these tools. Okay. So you're going to be wanting to do lots of clearing on your own energetic body. You're going to probably be like clearing the house using energetic tools, or your hands, or Archangel Michael to call in and cleanse the rooms. You're going to be asking Archangel Michael to come in and protect you and your family. You're going to be working with Archangel Raphael and calling him in to give you healing. You're going to embark on the angels and the different angels. It doesn't matter if you don't know which one does what. They can all do everything. They are all pure love and light from divine source, God consciousness. So if you want to learn more about angels as well, that is something that I offer as well. And I did a lot embarked on a lot of learning, which started with angels before I did my Reiki 15 years ago, but it tapped into my Reiki. I did angelic Reiki, so that was really beautiful. Another thing you'll want to do, because you are now, let's say you're now recognizing your sensitivity more. You're now opening yourself up to receiving the signs more fully. So your energies are open to receiving. You are acknowledging what you are receiving. And you are going to acknowledge when that energy is heavier, darker, if you like, more stagnant, more sticky, more yucky. and you're not going to want it to come into your peripheral. This is where some of the tools that we talk about and that I work with and teach come into play, and that you guys and girls have, etc., that you lovely souls have, that you use. Okay. But what you might find is you will want to turn off the news. You will want to no longer watch low vibing films that fill you with sadness, fear, doubts, etc. Some of them you will want to watch because there's an underlying message for you in them. Some you will want to watch because you are feeling called to watch them, and you are being called to watch them because there is something in it for you to gain, a nugget of wisdom. Some of it is going to help you to progress, to know what you are here to do, and for your divine soul light to shine even more fully. But with stuff like the news, I really recommend that you do not have that news channel on regularly. I know people that will sit down throughout a lot of the day and will watch the news. Oh my goodness. No wonder they are full of worries, maybe fears, doubts. No wonder they feel off of kilter, okay? Because the news is not set up to embody us more fully with our love and light. The news is set up with fear and control, okay? By powers that want to control. Now, I'm not saying that there's not some truth in that news, and I'm not saying that we need to disconnect from everything. I'm very compassionate. I give money to charities. I like to know what's happening in the world. I like to sign stuff to say that I agree or disagree or whatever it is with what the thing is. You know, I like to support an issue, or, you know, I like to support something if I feel really compassionate and so on about it. And I would encourage all of us to do that, you know, to support and to send out our love and light. I send out love and light and healing to the earth and to divine consciousness, to consciousness. Try and do that every day as part of my routine. But so I suppose what I'm saying is you might want to keep up to date with what's happening in the world, because I think it is so important to be informed. But I use independent channels to get informed. I don't nip on to certain channels on the TV that are promoted and supported by people that are getting a lot of financial income from them, and as you know, putting the information on there as to how they want things to be perceived by others. I don't think I'm getting that across very well, but it's a lot of societal programming and control and so on. So just be aware. There's some really great channels out there to update you, and with what I would call more truthful information of what's going on in the world. And I'd encourage you to get informed, but do it on a level whereby you're not bombarded with news in inverted commas all the time, because there is stuff out there that's low vibrational, and you have your own health, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual health, and the health of others around you. You have got to look after yourself, and as a mother or a caregiver or whatever you are, wife, husband, whatever it is, you know, you're there to support others as well. You want to support others as well. So just be aware of your energies, be aware of what you're taking in, and be aware of where you're giving your energies. Yeah, keep it high vibe as much as you can. You will be called probably to use non-toxic products on your skin, organic, natural products. You'll be called to have non-toxic, more organic food and drink. Okay, these are big things as well. You will be called to be around more high vibrational people, places, things, music, sounds, feelings, interests, hobbies. You'll be called to be more creative. You will want to use your hands. You will want to use your gifts, your voice, your hands, whatever it is, your body, to be more creative. You might want to sing, to hum, to dance. I just feel like I want to move. You might want to just chant. Okay, I was chanting earlier. I just had these things coming. I can't remember what they are, but I feel like going I feel like doing the but there was something, it was like this light language that was coming out earlier. You're going to be called to do all this. So this is really exciting. It's really powerful. And I think I'm just about at the end of my list, and there could well be a load more that I could give on this. But this is like, I don't know, this is probably like 20 points or something. of your wonderful great awakening, the great awakening that is your awakening, these signs of spiritual awakening, what to expect, what the signs are. We've gone through so many signs there of spiritual awakening on so many different levels. Okay. The support, and we're talking about the support there, physical support, people around you, spiritual team support, abundance, the abundance that comes into you when you awaken like this, you know, the wonderful soul spiritual team that come into your life and that support you and that you journey with, the abundance of people, experiences and material things that start coming in because you're aligning to it. You've lifted your vibration so much more fully to align to what you're after in your life, that those things are just naturally you're calling them in, they're coming in, they're flowing in for you, whether that's a soul aligned teacher or class or workshop, a beautiful spiritual book that you want to delve deep into, it just comes to you, or you overhear someone talking about it, beautiful spiritual soul family coming in, like you, Sheila, who's listening, who's listening live. Thank you for joining me live. Yeah, so there's so many things, but abundance, you know, more money coming in, more beautiful experiences coming in, more abundance of love and light. You know, this is all abundance of all good things. And, you know, and more, it's aligning to your highest path and purpose. So I hope that's been really helpful. If you have been here today, live or on replay, you're meant to be here. And there's these beautiful gifts of information that are meant for you. If you're here, there'll be things that resonate, things that perhaps you hadn't thought of, that make so much sense to you now, or things where you hadn't consciously acknowledged it, but you're like, oh my goodness, yeah, I've been getting that calling not to be eating so many of those lower vibrational processed foods. You know, I've been getting that vibe to step up and have more organic vegetables and fruit and less of the processed cakes and biscuits and like refined sugary stuff. You know, like me, you might be called to do more of the raw food, you know. So if you are going to have sweets or cakes or whatever, it's more coconut, cacao, dates, nuts, seeds. Obviously, if you're not allergic or intolerant to them, that's a whole new topic and subject that I'm very big on. But yeah, so there's so much stuff here, and there might be things mentioned here where you think, oh my God, I feel really called to that, I really want to do that. Well, I really encourage you to step out and do it. You know, if you're called to use some essential oils or other products that really resonate with you, but just check out with essential oils. I say that because I work with essential oils and they're brilliant, but you do have to follow a protocol of a certain amount of drops to a certain amount of, I can't remember the word, but like you base oil, that's the word I'm looking for. So you can sometimes get like a base oil and then you would add in an essential drop of oil, but you need to know how much you're using. I'm not trained in that. I just do it for myself. So look that up, go to someone that knows, or do your research. That's important. So I'm just going to check I've covered everything that I want to check. There's a lot of stuff there, but I really wanted to get that out. I know I've been talking about a lot of different things there, but there's a huge amount of knowledge and information there that you can call upon, that you can embody to support you in your spiritual journey, that will really help you to step up to that next level of your spiritual journey and your enlightenment and your great awakening. I can, you know, promise you that there will be things there if you're here right now that are going to be helpful. Do comment on what's been helpful for you, perhaps what you're doing now, what you're going to step into more fully, things that have really resonated with you that you're going to try. You know, I'd love to hear about these. That would be really, really great. So I think that's everything that I've covered. I was going to tell you a couple of things about when my guides stepped up and started coming through. So I'm just going to see where I was with that, but I'm just going to clear the energy a little bit. And I'm going to pick a couple of cards. These are just really basic little cards, but just for the group collective. Interesting one. Take the time to reflect. And you've got the beautiful unicorn, the pure white divine love and light of the unicorn looking into the water in the pond or lake below. And reflection is important, and what I've been talking about does very much lead to self-reflection and the way perhaps you are living your life currently, the things you're embodying, the things you're not, the things that are working for you, the things that are not working so well, and the things like we've discussed today that are coming into your peripheral that you could embody even more fully now, things that I've mentioned that you might think, yeah, that's for me. That's what I'm being called to do. I'm being called to change jobs. I'm being called to, change the relation, the unhealthy self-sabotaging or sabotaging relationship that I'm in, or whatever it is. And we spoke about that earlier. And obviously those are very deep, heartfelt things, and those sorts of things, and that's probably why the card might have come up there actually, those sorts of things do need deep reflection on before taking a rash decision to do something. But then that's not meant to hold you back. But take the example of a job, and if you're in a job and you're not happy, then yes, you need to look to change that, to be able to release that and to step into something else more aligned. But it doesn't mean that you want to go in, hand your job in on Monday morning and say, yeah, I've had enough, sod it, I'm going away, especially if you've got bills to pay. You might not want to do that. I don't think I'd recommend it, even though you could feel guided to do that and then step into something else that's brilliant. So I don't want to stop you doing stuff that you feel really guided to do. And if you're in a position where you can do that and you're financially stable, then heck, yeah, if that feels aligned, then why not? But for something like a job and the financial aspects to it, these are big, important decisions and feelings. Sheila said, nah, go ahead and quit. Yeah, exactly. When you are aligned and when you're on it, like you are, Sheila, and like we are, when you're really aligned to your higher self and you know what's right for you, if you know you need to quit that job right now, then you need to quit that job right now, and everything else will work out. But from the perspective of someone that's thinking, yeah, I really want to change my job, but I do need the financial support right now, I can't just go and jack it in. Call in your angels, call in your guides, ask them to support you, ask them to help you to bring in the answers, to see the answers, to feel and know the answers. Ask your angels and guides to put the right people in your peripheral that you need to see and connect with, all of this kind of thing. And have the intention that you are stepping out of the role that you're in. Start doing your CV, get your CV out to companies and people that you're aligned to. Start organizing your life around the new job you're going to have. Start creating the life you want so this new job can come in and fill it exactly as you want it to do. It's that sort of scenario. This is how it works on an energetic level. So, yeah, and Sheila, I think you did that, didn't you? You knew you'd had enough with your role, and yeah, it got to a point where you knew that you didn't want to stay and it wasn't healthy for you to stay anymore, and you stepped out of that, even though there were times where you loved it and there was so much that you loved about it, but you knew that it wasn't no longer the right path as such, and you stepped out of that and have really embodied your spiritual path even more fully, which is awesome. So the reflection card is really important, and like I say, I'm not encouraging anyone to make rash decisions, because when we are spiritually connected and we are in that space of love, heart-centered, and connected with the divine source energy and connected with our spiritual team of love and light, it is then in that space of calm, of tranquility, of love and light that we can find the answers, that we can ask the questions to our higher self and our guides, and we can be so attuned that we can receive information more fully for our highest good. So I hope that's helpful. Reach out if you've got any questions. Oh, I think I've done that one, haven't I? Oops, I was just about to do another card from there, but actually I want to do this one, Naked Truth. Have the courage to be honest about who you are. Be proud. Speak truthfully. Okay, I'm just going to show you this card. This is really irrelevant as well. So naked truth, have the courage to be honest about who you are, be proud, speak truthfully. This connects so much with what we're talking about here, doesn't it, Sheila? So Sheila's saying, I want people not to wait until they're ill like I was before they choose themselves and their families over their jobs. Oh my goodness, Sheila, this is another one that we so resonate on. Me too. I got to the point where my health was so rubbish in so many ways. I couldn't sometimes go out the house. There were times in my life I was bedridden, you know. This is crazy. And this is me speaking, someone who's very strong-willed. And Sheila would probably say the same about her as well. Someone who's got very strong energy, someone who has felt always like they have done their best to support others and to love themselves and to speak their truth. But I realized how I wasn't supporting myself enough. I wasn't loving myself enough because I wasn't putting my health first, you know. And that is a big calling. So, right, Sheila, a big calling on the spiritual path is when you start getting physical symptoms because your spiritual team is saying, wake up, it's knocking, and wake up because you're getting ill, you're getting sick. You're not dealing with this energy, this emotion, and it's becoming physical sickness, okay? This is a whole nother topic, big topic, one that I could definitely talk about big time. Sounds like you could as well, Sheila. But it's so true. Don't get to, please don't get to where some of us have got to, whereby we waited till we were in that space where we had to jack in our jobs because we could no longer take it because we were that unwell, you know, just couldn't face it, couldn't handle it emotionally or physically. So be kind to yourself. And that's not just about jobs. That is about any relationship, because what you'll find is if you're in unhealthy karmic relationships or unhealthy jobs, what will happen is you will start becoming unhealthy. This is a whole big other topic and something I'm really big on, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that there. So naked truth, have the courage to be honest about who you are, be proud, speak truthfully. And it's when we start, because if we're not speaking truthfully, we have to think, why? What's holding us back? What is it about what we want to say that's so frightening or difficult to say? And it might be because you feel that other people won't relate or understand you or something. And when you do speak your truth, that's when your tribe starts hearing you and coming in. That's when you invite all those beautiful high vibrational soul tribe beings to come in and join you. So it's stepping out the comfort zone, I know. And speaking truth is important to do with love, speaking the truth with love and light, okay? But have the courage to start speaking your truth when it's really important to you in a loving way, when it's, you know, obviously when it's safe for you to do so. You know, there's such a big, vast array of emotions here. You know, if you're in a relationship that is really unhealthy, and if it's a relationship that you know you need to walk away from, you might not be able to have the conversation with the person about this before you go. You know what I mean? There's certain relationships and things where you need to be guided on that soul level of understanding as to what is the best route for you to take. But when we're talking about general truth of who we are and speaking to our friends and loved ones and the people that care about us dearly and treat us decently, then we need to step out of that comfort zone to fully engage ourselves in the world, like to be honest with ourselves and to connect with the people that we're meant to connect with around us. Because as soon as we start speaking our truth, it's almost like we light up and those other soul aligned people hear us and see us and come into us. We meet them, you know, whether it's on courses, whether it's at school, whether, you know, picking up the kids from school, whether it's when we're out shopping at the supermarket. You'd be surprised, like these things just happen. Yeah, you just start calling them in, these soul aligned people. It just happens that way. So be honest about who you are, be proud of who you are and speak your truth. Yeah, there's so much to be said in that, and it all links into this this great awakening that you are on, whether you're at the beginning of it in this lifetime, whether you're 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years into it. We're all at different stages. We're all growing. We are all growing spiritually and learning spiritually, no matter what our ages, etc. So it's really beautiful, and we're all at the place we're at. We're all kind of meant to be at that space we're at. That's where we're at now, and that's where we're stepping out from. So step out in love and light, step out in faith and trust, and really embody what you're here to do and how you feel and your truth. But I hope that a load of those have been helpful to you. I still haven't said about my guides and things, but I had an experience, well, after my mum, well, actually, no, I'll take you back a little bit further. If this is going on for a little bit because we're on an hour, so I appreciate your time. And those are kind of like the nuggets of information, but it might actually be supportive and interesting to hear a couple of stories that I have to say where these things have kind of stepped out for me. I was experiencing from years back different things coming into my peripheral, and one was one of my guides that was stepping up very fully at the time, one of my healing guides, and he looks very like Merlin, so he's like my Merlin guide, although I do work with Merlin as well. But this Merlin guide had stepped up particularly at this point in my life because I had become a mum, and it was very challenging because of health issues for myself. There were other health issues coming in, like reflux issues and stuff for my baby at the time. And it was very difficult, and he wasn't sleeping at all. He'd just sleep a few hours, then wake every night for like a couple of years. And I love him, and I love both my boys to infinity and beyond. But when you're a mother, and if you are a mother, or you know, fulfilling that role as a mother role, you will understand probably the challenges that come up that are sometimes unexpected and very hard challenges that push us to the edge sometimes of our emotions and so on. And they require us to do a deep dive, a deep look at ourselves, and they require us to set new boundaries, or to set boundaries if we didn't have boundaries. And I always made a commitment to myself to be the best mother that I could and to give everything to my family, to my boys. And I don't go back on that because I think that was, well, it's almost like being a martyr, so maybe I should. But I think I had these great intentions. But what happened was I forgot about myself, and I became unwell because I was getting such lack of sleep. I was ill. I couldn't sort of do the things physically that I wanted to with the boys and so on. And what I realized was that I had to look after myself, because if I didn't put myself at the top of the pile of making sure I was healthy, how the heck could I make sure that they were healthy and that I was looking after them right? Now, it was a tough journey. I'd lost my mum when my little boy was about 3, and then my other little boy came in, so that was like a real miracle. And I know that was meant to be, that he came in as mum went out. Mum looks over us, she's with us, very present in spirit. And yeah, I realized, thank you, Sheila. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, agreeing. And yeah, I realized that I had just totally left myself like at the wayside, or whatever it's saying. It's like I totally left myself. I hadn't checked in and looked after myself. I'd literally given everything, to the family to try and make sure that my boys were as healthy and as happy as they could be, and safe and protected. And we do that as a mum, and that's important. But what we mustn't do is do it at the detriment of our own being and health, because then we become unhealthy to a point of it's detrimental for the children. So I was getting to the point where my husband was is really supportive. But of course, he was at work. This was before the pandemic. He was out at work. He was really busy with his job and he had so much going on. When he was with me, he was very present and he was really helpful and supportive with the kids. But even then, there were times where I was like, no, I'll do it. Then I had to realize that if I wanted to be able to function as a parent and actually get through physically with some kind of health intact, with my physical being intact by the end to some degree, I would have to put myself first. I would have to pass the children over to my husband, and like he had asked me to do in the first place, I would have to go off to bed. I would have to sleep. I would have to catch up on that time. I would have to devote every minute I could when he could look after the children or when I could get someone in to help and support me, to myself, to sleep and to rest and to recuperate and to do the essential things of the day in the household of a family to be able to sort of function fully or fully enough. Okay, can't do everything, even when you've got a bit of support. It's like, yeah, well, we won't do the hoovering or the dusting for the next however many months then until it becomes such an issue that you do it. But I just realized how detrimental it was. And then I started to just not be able to deal with things very well. It was very hard to maintain that equilibrium. It was very hard to maintain peace and harmony and joy when you are unhealthy, when physically you're unwell, when you feel overwhelmed and drained. So I became, at times, a mother that I didn't really like seeing. I didn't really like seeing the behaviors occasionally that I was putting out there. And one of my guys who had been present stepped in one day because he knew that I was getting to the end of my tether. And he knew that he needed to say, excuse me, listen up here, because you need to listen and be doing this in a different way that is healthy and supportive to you and your children. Because what was happening is the kids were getting crazy at times. You know how it is. The kids go mental, don't they, at times? It's like, oh, my God, what are we doing? Like, it's just like, whoosh, this energy overload, and it's all going mental, and you feel like there's no control, there's no balance. And so I was about to shout at them. And I don't even like shouting at them. I don't shout at them now. But there were times where I did, and I feel sad that there were times that I did. But God, we're human, hey? Sometimes we screw up. There were times where I screwed up. There were things I wish I hadn't have done. But thank God everything was okay. And like with this scenario, I was going to sort of shout or whatever. And I think on this particular thing, I was like, oh God, no, I mustn't, calm, take a step back, ground, connect. This is kind of the scenario. And I could see my guide really fully stepping forward and talking to me telepathically and basically saying, just be calm. Just say what you want to say, but just be calm. Hold your energy fully. Like, be strong, be firm, hold your energy, be centered, be grounded, be connected. But you don't have to lose the plot over it, is basically what he was saying, but not in those words. But it was like a telepathic knowing. It was a knowing of what he was saying. And I could see him standing there fully, like in front of me in my third eye sort of vision out here. And I thought, yeah, oh my God. And I felt so empowered. Just him stepping up to say, I'm here. Stop a minute. You need to think. And it wasn't like he was saying it exactly like that, but that's how I'm saying it to you, because that's kind of how I'm reliving it. It was very loving. It was very strong and powerful and to the point, but it was with love. Okay. Always in love and light. It always is when you're connected fully to your source team. Like, it's always in love and light. It's always for the highest good of all. And I, from that moment, completely changed, was able to change, because I tried so hard not to lose the plot and get annoyed with the kids and shout or whatever. I tried really hard not to do it at times. And it wasn't all the time, but there were times where it was just getting out of control and I needed more help and support, and I was on my own a lot. And it's a time when I didn't have my mum to call. She was in heaven. She is in heaven. It's not an excuse, but, there's challenges and they come in. They always do. And thank God my guide stepped up, because that changed everything for the positive and for the better. And I listened. I was fully present. And I think I just probably said to the boys, okay, look, we've just got to stop this, just let's, calm, let's just start again. Okay, I don't want to shout, just listen to what mummy's saying, and in a gentle way. So I did this, and from that moment, everything changed for me in a much lighter, easier flow of ease and grace way. And I'd had so many things that had come into my peripheral over the years, things since a child, but this was the first time, I think, from memory, that I remember my guide stepping up so fully to support me in that way. And I think because I was crying out for help by this point, And now look, I've got 2 amazing kids. They're great. They're spiritual. They're happy most of the time. You're not going to have people happy and grounded and connected all the time, but we're doing our best. As parents, we're doing our best, and we're doing a good job. I can say we're doing a good job. We are actually doing a good job. I feel really emotional saying that. I'm going to pat myself on the back, and I want you to pat yourselves on the back for all the things that you're doing and that you're doing well, all of the things and the challenges that you've overcome. Because for me, that was a very big one. Like I say, my beautiful healer Merlin guide stepped up there for me very fully, and from that moment onwards, he's always been there very fully. So that's been really magical. And then there's been other times where I've allowed my intuition and my higher knowing and wisdom to come through, and I'd be out and about and doing things, or I'd be at home and just doing normal day-to-day stuff, and stuff would come in and I'd be overwhelmed, like emotions. I'd be seeing like video reel running, like old-fashioned video reel kind of running like a film. It's like I was watching it. I'd be seeing stuff, feeling stuff, all sorts of things. And these were triggers from karmic lifetimes where I dealt with real big challenges, persecutions. Persecution imprint is big time for me on past lives. Not all of them. There have been some very empowered lifetimes where I've stepped up as a healer in places like Atlantis, and that was awesome. But thank you, Sheila. Yeah, great job to you too. We know what it's like because we're both parents, and yeah, we're honest with each other about how there are challenges. You're not going to go through life and have everything as a doddle, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, I've done it perfectly every single time, because it's just not what earthly incarnation life is about. Hey, yes, there is that. There are things you'll find easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I don't know where that came from. That's like from my childhood. I don't know if that's an English thing. Do you know, Sheila? Have you ever heard of that? But there will be times where you step up and you're in your power and it's your gifts and you know what to do and everything is beautiful and it's all perfect, right, in your world. But there will be times where you're challenged and you have stepped up to come into this earthly lifetime, in this earthly beautiful body this time, to acknowledge and experience and grow from different things. For me, one of those things was I wanted to step up and be a great mum, but I had these challenges. But I got through it, and I did really, I've done really well now. I'm on it. I'm doing really well. Long may it continue, because you can't take your foot off the pedal with it either, because, it's always changing. Life is flowing. It's like the water aspect of the river. It's always flowing, and you can't put your foot in the same bit twice. Hey, it's like where I was 6 years ago with the kids is totally different to where I am now, but where I am now could be totally different to where I am in another 6 years with the kids, and it will be. And there'll probably be other challenges that come in, but hey, we just have to do the best we can. We have to empower ourselves. We have to ground. We have to connect, and we have to be in that space where we can act from calm and peace and love and faith and trust and light, and where we can connect so fully in with our truth, with our divine knowledge and wisdom from all of our spiritual support team. Goodness me, there are so many of them. We look at all of our guides. When I was growing up, I was kind of thinking, oh, I've got a few guides, and oh my goodness, a few. There's just loads. There can be tens and tens of guides. I don't know. You tell me how many guides you've got, but I'm aware of loads and loads of guides. I'm aware of galactic beings that are coming in, that are channeling stuff through me and telling me stuff. And I love it when they do that. And Oh my God, and the animal guides and like the mythical animal guides. I don't really like calling them mythical because they're real, but they're in a different dimension. But you know what I mean? That we've just got so much support. So I hope that these stories of my own personal experience and like Sheila saying about her experiences here, I hope and I know that they will support and encourage you on your journey. My example with my children and with my guide stepping up fully, and then my examples with these karmic lifetimes, because I was getting all of these feelings. And one of the feelings, and I thank you for staying with me if you are, and I understand if it's gone on for a while, but it's important and it's really relevant and it's transformational and it's all good stuff. Honestly, it's all good stuff that I'm saying here. It's all relevant. It's all transformational. There's going to be golden nuggets of information here for you. If you're here now, you're meant to be here now. So I encourage you to listen. If you've missed out early on, do catch up on the replay on the early bits, because there are so many pointers, like 10, I thought 10, maybe 20 pointers of very important information. The Great Awakening, I've said, signs of spiritual awakening, what to expect, signs, support, abundance, and more, and what those are coming into your peripheral. They are going to be really supportive, really helpful, really transformational. So do watch it if you haven't watched that bit. And I'm just giving an example of my guide just then, who came in to support me very fully, which was awesome. And I love him so much for that. I mean, I love my guides anyway, but that meant so much to me. I can't really explain. It's it changed my life for the positive. And then I had these things that started happening to me as a child, and this is going back to when I was in my teens, possibly before, and I'd get these overwhelming feelings that would come in that weren't related to this lifetime and the feelings and experiences that I'd had in this lifetime. And they were very uncomfortable feelings. So this is like karmic that I'm talking about. Like I say, we have lots of different lifetimes. We sign up for lots of different type of lifetimes in terms of different lessons to learn in different lifetimes, for example, okay? And there have been lifetimes where I've been really rocking it as a healer and stuff like that, and really embodying my gifts and working with herbs and stuff like that. But then that turned into a karmic lifetime where, this is what I'm talking about actually, it's this one where I was persecuted. So I didn't remember this lifetime consciously back when I was 11, 12, 13, when this stuff started coming in. I was aware of just feeling like I was being strangled, or that I was being like hung, and it's interesting because before I came on live, I put this necklace on, which I don't normally wear, this third necklace here, and it got stuck at about here. And I said to my boys, I'm going to have to break it if I can't get it off, because I feel so uncomfortable with something hanging around my neck, knowing I can't get it off, even when it's not even literally on my throat. It's hanging down here. But I felt so uncomfortable, and I knew why that was, because I'd accessed the lifetime. I'd regressed myself to go back into these lifetimes and different meditations to go back into past life or other lives and so on. So I knew why I was feeling these fearful, unpleasant physical symptoms and feelings. Okay, so I had that earlier, and I thought, I'm going to have to break the flipping necklace now. And I really didn't want to break it. So I was like, can you help me, boys? Can we try and work this out? And we managed to sort it out. And I just grounded, and I was like, why am I even worrying? Okay, I can feel the physical symptoms of like I'm being strangled, but it's not in real time. But that is how powerful our past lives are. And this is why I'm saying it now, because there's a big thing around this. And you might start feeling, seeing, sensing, knowing, hearing about your past lives coming into your peripheral, if you like. Some of them will be awesome and really high vibrational, and you'll be like, oh my God, I was this, I was that, I was doing this, I was doing that, I was rocking it with this, I was rocking it with that, and that's super cool. Okay. But also, you've got to remember, in these karmic lifetimes, this is where we learn huge, huge life lessons. But what happens in these sometimes, because sometimes the karmic, I found that some of my lifetimes, like where I was persecuted, one of them, it was interesting because I lived a life where I was so happy with my family and with me, and I was with nature and finding the herbs and being able to make people healthy. I was living my true soul life, okay? And it fills me with joy that I was. But it was at a time when you were rocking your gifts as a healer of any kind, as a psychic, as an intuitive, as a medium, as anything. It was a time where we were persecuted, killed for it. So sadly, that is what happened to me in that lifetime. I was still very young, and I was living in a little cottage in a forest, actually. It's a beautiful little cottage, a little thatched cottage in England, I believe, with the smoke coming out. It's really beautiful, really little, sweet, picturesque English Tudor type, I suppose, cottage. It's just so beautiful, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And or at least that's when the house, I believe, was probably built, but I'm not 100% sure. And I lived in this forest, and it was very away from other people. It wasn't even in a hamlet. It was away from other people, very much so. And I was there and living there with my family. And I kept myself very much to myself, especially at a time when I knew that women particularly, but people, women and men, were being persecuted. They were being murdered for expressing and working with these beautiful gifts. Yeah, and so I was very aware of that at that time, and keeping myself away from others. But what sadly happened is I was dobbed in. Obviously, someone found out that I was working with the herbs, and I was doing things that were very beautiful, very soul aligned, very natural, very much love and light. But the patriarchal dominance, the oppression of women, all of this kind of horrible stuff was very present, very prevalent, I think the word is, isn't it, in that particular time, physical earthly time on this earth plane. And that fear that a lot of male patriarchal dominance had over women, because women are powerful. Women have got this intuitive, creative, loving, life, literally life-giving, as in birthing, ability. And people were frightened of it. People that were in power were frightened of it, yeah? So I was persecuted then. And what happened, because I didn't realize this until years later as a young adult or an adult, but what I was doing was I was feeling the feelings that I'd felt back in those lifetimes were coming in as impressions, and I was feeling a tension around my neck. I felt like I was being strangled. And this has happened many times throughout my lifetime. But now when it happens, I know what it is and why. And it's not, I don't believe that it is just from that lifetime. There's been other times where that's been like how I've been persecuted. So in this particular one that I refer to, I was hung. I was persecuted. I was hung. And yeah, it's I've got a ground, but it still brings up a lot of sadness for me, because I was really young and I had a family. So it's likely that if you're listening to this now, this is going to trigger stuff for you, okay? It might do. But don't worry, just ground, keep connected, okay, to source and to the earth, and just know that these things might come up for you as we go through our spiritual journey together. These things might come up, past life stuff might come up, and it might feel very uncomfortable. But like I say, it came up for me again today as I was getting onto the call. So I believe that I was meant to say this today, even though this is a long call. I believe I'm meant to be here saying this to you today, because I had that sign and message earlier from Spirit with this tightening here on my necklace, and that as if I was being strangled. So when it happens and you allow to kind of watch it and feel it, but no, it's not you now, It's not me now. I'm not being strangled. I'm fine. I'm standing here talking to my kids. I was at the time. The necklace was just on there. It wasn't even tight around my throat. And I was able to say, look, you're okay. It feels uncomfortable. You're remembering a past life. You're remembering a time when you were persecuted and where, yes, you were unfairly killed for something that you should never have been persecuted for. Your lifetime was ended short when it doesn't seem right or fair. But we are infinite, we are soul, we have many lifetimes. That's what happened in that lifetime. I was probably aware that that was a very big likelihood before going into that lifetime. I believe I would have been very aware that that could have been an outcome, okay? So don't feel disempowered by this, because there's so much that we are empowered with when we're in spirit, and that is within our subconscious or unconscious, okay, that we can get into. But I wanted to say it because as we step into our spiritual journey, and that's what this whole talk here is about, and it's a really powerful, transformational, important one, okay? It's really so important. As we step into this journey, or even if we're 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the line, there are going to be things that come up that trigger us at times. Even if we think we've dealt with it all, it's a bit like the onion, and you step into that again, you're triggered again, and you're like, oh God, I thought I dealt with that 20 years ago, but it's come up again, and here it is, and I'm having to peel back the onion layers even more to understand and to release more fully. Okay, so don't lose faith or trust or doubt, because you don't need to. And you stepped into all of this. You chose to step into this before you incarnated. There are going to be triggers. Just allow yourself to look at them in a place of non-judgment, of faith, of trust, of wisdom and knowledge, connected to higher team, connected to higher consciousness, source, God, grounded to the earth, okay? Just allow yourself to feel at a level that's comfortable for you. Get someone to work with you. I would be more than happy to work with any of you. You can do any of my free lives. You know that. They always go on to replay. That's always my intention with my Facebooks and my YouTube. I also work with people one-to-one and do other classes and circles. So just like step up, reach out to me privately or whatever if you want to do any of this with me, because I would be honored to support you. It's very powerful, okay? Don't lose heart if things like this start happening and it feels tricky. I just feel I need to say this because it's not all roses, and I'm sure a lot of you who are listening to me now, you know, it's not always all roses and butterflies and love and light as such, because you are having to look at stuff that's triggered you over many, 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 many lifetimes, tens, maybe hundreds of lifetimes. So there is stuff that's going to come up, and just have that inner faith and knowledge and that strong connection to the divine that knows the answer to everything, that you are supported and loved, and you can reach out to other spiritual support networks you have and other spiritual support teachers you have. You can reach out to me. So just know that I'm here, others are here to support you on your journey. It's really important, because sometimes you get into the sticky, icky stuff and it's like, no, I can't cope, I can't do this anymore. Yes, you can. This is where it's about to, the transformation's about to be massive here. You're stepping out of your shadow and into your shine, okay? That's a good one, isn't it? Stepping out of your shadow into your shine, but you have to step out of the shadow and go through it, acknowledge it, and then just release it, okay? It's big, it's powerful, but you can do it. It's liberating. Oh, Alexandra, thank you. Yes, so liberating when you know where these things come from, even if it's not that pleasant in the moment. Yes, I've had similar, which was very frightening before I had a sense of where it came from. Thanks for sharing this. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for sharing that as well. That is awesome. Well done. Because yes, it is kind of disconcerting, isn't it? It's like that fear and that worry and that what's happening to me. I'm experiencing these unpleasant feelings and seeing these unpleasant images and stuff, and why is this coming up? But when you understand that we are soul and that we are infinite and that we've had many, many lifetimes and will no doubt have many, many more on earth perhaps, you understand in its truth, and you understand the truth of who you are, and that you have lived many lifetimes in many different bodies and also in many different dimensions. And the truth is very interesting and very it's very beautiful on many levels, actually, but it's very varied, and yeah, it's incredible. It's amazing. It's like a whole big world of like another world of like information and detail and love and amazingness, and I can't really describe it, but it's awesome. So when you do step on the spiritual path, there will be challenges. We all have them, no matter where we're at. And I first started off with my spiritual journey really young, like I say, because my mum was very spiritual, okay? But she's not here now. She's not earthbound now. She's heaven, if you like. She's etheric. She's ether. But I started off really young with knowing about spirit. But I'm in my 40s now, and I can't believe I don't feel like that. But I'm in my 40s now. I feel much younger, but I'm in my 40s now. I've got the wisdom though now. I've got the wisdom, so I feel much older in that way, but I feel young. But I'm in my 40s now, and I'm here, and I'm in a really good place overall, and I'm really happy with where I'm at. But even all of the journeying that I've done, admittedly, the last 10-15 years have been much more fully, the last 15 years when I started with Reiki training and training as a Reiki master, much more fully into my spiritual self, if you like. But even now, there's stuff that comes up that I get triggered with where I think, yeah, I'm being called to look at that because that's still causing me some fears and doubts. Or what can I do to take myself from this space of this fears or some doubts here to a space whereby I am feeling much more empowered. So it's all doable. It's amazing. Oh, Sheila, wait till 50s, girl. Are you 50s? Oh, that's amazing. I didn't realize. I don't really know how old all of our SSU group are, actually. I guess it's just that you just think, we really resonate and we're around a similar age and all of that, which we are. And in spiritual kind of years, gosh, goodness knows how old we are. But yeah, love you too. Love you too, Sheila. It's so lovely. Thank you, Alexandra and Sheila, for being here live. I love you guys being here and joining me. It's really precious and really special, and it's really great that there's loads of you from our SSU group with Jane Gilchrist, who I'm mentioning because she's so brilliant, and she helped me more fully to embody my gifts big time, and to also big time meet more of my soul family. So, and that's what I'm doing now, and that so many of you that were on the course with me will be doing now. We're reaching out. We've got our own businesses, and we're reaching out, and we are supporting other spiritual women and men. Don't want to leave out the men. We are supporting other beings to grow spiritually. And definitely don't want to knock that candle over, do I? We are I'm like with my business, I feel I've grown so much, I've transformed so much, I'm so much more empowered. I see truth so much more fully. I understand life so much more fully, and the dynamics of it, the depth of it, and how earthly world is just one part of our true existence of consciousness and soul. And I'm supporting other people, generally women, but other people to step more fully into their power and to access areas of their life that they haven't before, and perhaps to look at past lives, perhaps to look at unhealthy healing agreements and relationships, to feel their energy and to read their energy of their auras and stuff like that, and to see what's coming up for them. What are they struggling with at the moment, but what's working, what's not working so well, and releasing that, and using a lot of tools and stuff to help my clients, my soul aligned clients, to step from where they're at to where they want to be in their life. So it's really powerful. It's really transformational. I really encourage you to use these pointers, these 20 pointers or whatever of how you're going to feel when you embark on your spiritual journey, to really embody your spiritual journey and awakening, your great awakening more fully, to use these to support you more fully. That is what they will do. And if you want to say any others that you do, because I sat down and wrote a bit of a list before coming on, because I wanted to make sure that I was in like aligned and in the zone and like didn't miss anything on there, but there's loads more that we could add in. So let me know if you want to share what works, you know, what's working for you, or what you're looking to release at the moment, or what's working and what you're doing, what you're finding that you're stepping into more fully now you're embarking on your spiritual journey even more fully. Like I say, it might be to do with what you're doing health wise. You might be feeling that you're called to do more movement, yoga, stuff like that. Or you might be feeling like stepping into a more soul aligned business, you know, helping others, working with animals. Who knows? There's 101 different things that we could mention here, but it's all really beautiful and really powerful. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been quite a long live, hasn't it? I think it's possibly one of the longest lives that I've ever done. And it's quite funny because I came on thinking, oh, it won't go on for too long. I'll probably just be on trying to do like half an hour, 45 minutes. But it's it organically grows. It just develops and flows how it's meant to. And it was important. It was meant to be. It was important, soul aligned, that I brought in those points about my guide and my karmic or past life, or however you want to term it, lifetimes, because it's going to be relevant for probably all of you. It will be relevant. So it's important that I am able to support you and encourage you, particularly along those more challenging aspects. But believe me, those more challenging aspects that I had to overcome have now become some of my probably greatest achievements in life, to be honest. And the stories now that I have to tell, and there's many more, but the stories that I have to tell about my guides supporting me and the past life or karmic or other lifetimes that have come in are incredible. And yeah, it's like you're writing your own beautiful, amazing, wonderful book full of magic, and it's your life, you know. So really step into it fully with love and light and faith and trust, and always know that your spiritual team will always give you loving, clear guidance, or loving guidance, always in love and light. If you can't hear them so fully or clearly, just ask them to step up and to give you clearer signs that you can hear and understand fully, or however it resonates for you. But these are things also that we can talk about if you connect further with me. I'm doing this sacred circle. So the one I'm doing is at home at the moment, that's running now each Thursday evening. And that's really awesome. So I've got people coming to my home in the UK, and we're doing meditations and healing, and we're talking and we're growing and healing and transforming together, which is awesome. And that's 20 English pounds for that, to come along each time. And it's really beautiful. It's usually for like 1.5 to 2 hours. Well, it was for 2 hours last time. It's about 2 hours. But what I'm doing is I'm reaching out to people to say, I really would like to invite you to come and join me online so that we can grow and learn together. Because what I've talked about here today is something really, really important. It's your spiritual journey, your embodying of you, your remembrance of who you truly are is vitally important to you living the life that you want to live, and for achieving the things you signed up to achieve, etc., etc. And the spiritual circles, the sacred ceremony and circles that I offer with the meditation and healing, and the sisterhood of support, of joining together, supporting each other, being able to speak your truth, is really powerful and a transformational container. And it's £20 to come along, 20 English pounds. So it's very little, and it's very little money when you think of the transformation that you're getting by being here. Now, you can't always, because some of you are far away in the UK, or you're in America, or you're in Canada, or you're in Australia, or you're in other parts of Europe or Asia, or wherever you are. So you can't all come to me if you wanted to and be physically present once a month in this room. But you can become present in our energetic circle online that I am offering once a month. So yes, Sheila, you're so right. Your spiritual health is worth investing on. Yeah, it's definitely worth investing in, for sure. It's so key, isn't it? And it's key to the health aspect. It is all, it's it's all many parts that make up the whole. It's the mental, physical, emotional, spiritual health. It's that wholeness. You can't really focus on just one but not the others. It doesn't really work that way. You have to encompass the whole of your being, in all aspects of your being, you know, for as much ultimate health as possible, if you like. So yeah, that is really, really important. But it's interesting today because we've been here and we've spoken about these really beautiful parts of what life is about. You know, we are spiritual beings having an earthly experience. So this is really deep, beautiful stuff here. And we've talked about this, it's almost an hour and 40 minutes. And look how the time has gone and how all of this information has been, in my view anyway, hopefully in other people's, it's been very relevant. It's definitely been relevant, but it's been important and it's been empowering, but it's been so relevant. And if you're here now, then you're meant to receive this information. This is relevant for you. Now look at what we've achieved there, what we've talked about in those almost two, you know, an hour and 40 minutes now. And then the circle that I'm setting up is for like 2 hours. It's going to go on for like 2 hours maximum. It's 2 hours, £20. What's that in dollars? $23, $24 US dollars perhaps. So if you would like to come and join me, and it's going to be so brilliant, and you will have time to talk as well. So it's not just about listening. I know you can talk through the comments and things here, which is brilliant. And I love that. So important. But in our sacred circle that we share together, we'll be doing different meditations, different healing. We'll be using the crystal bowls. We'll be creating this beautiful sacred space. But in this Zoom call experience where we can all see each other, and there'll be opportunities for each person to speak their truth of what they want to say in that moment. That's very powerful, especially when you're stepping out of your comfort zone, perhaps, but stepping out onto your spiritual growth cycle, spiritual journey, spiritual awakening, your great awakening, because there might be times where you do feel a bit isolated from other spiritual people, because when you first start off, you don't often have a big circle of spiritual friends who are very enlightened and who are very very much in their spiritual journey kind of thing. So a sacred circle, a sacred space like that, where you're together in a sisterhood of support and love and non-judgment, that sacred vessel that is held by me in that love and light and support, where I bring in, of course, my guides and Archangel Michael and other angels to help hold the space as well, is so powerful and transformative. And it helps and supports each one of us and each one of you to grow on your spiritual path. And it's helps build your spiritual soul family as well, because I've had people that have come in, like the first circle I set up, which was last month, people that didn't know each other, so they're starting to connect, you know, and build that love and support and rapport gradually together, that trust together. So that's really, really important. And it's so important for our spiritual growth that we are in contact with other spiritual beings and that we can talk and grow together. And as Sheila and Alexandra, who both here live, thank you both of you, would also say, being with other spiritual beings while working through your own energies and releasing the energies that no longer serve and embodying more of what is your true divine soul self is incredibly supportive and powerful and transformational. So that is what we are doing. So it's really cool. But thank you so much. I'm just checking the comments, but I've read out, I think, all the comments that I can from this feed. Okay, I can't see any others, but please do message me. Do share if you feel comfortable sharing, if you feel happy to step out of the comfort zone and share that you've watched it, and whether it was live or on replay, and share what you got from it, the most supportive and relevant elements to you, or whatever you want to share. I love hearing and seeing comments. And if you want to reach out and message me personally, please do. If you want to know any more about the circles and things, you know, if you want to sign up for the next one, which is the one I'm holding here at home, is next week. And I think there's some space there if you want to physically come to me. I think there's a bit of space left on that if you'd like to come in. That would be cool. And if you want to come into the next circle online, just let me know, and then I can send out date and time. But that would be really awesome. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to clear the air again, thanking Archangel Michael and my spiritual team for coming in and holding the space and being with me and supporting me in my soul purpose work. And I'm so loving what I'm doing, and thank you for listening and letting me share what I have experienced and how I have grown and what has supported me throughout my journey, spiritual journey and awakening. So thank you so much. Love to you all. Have a really beautiful rest of weekend, and make sure you do something that makes you full of joy and fills your heart with love. It's so important. Self-care, self-worth, self-love is key as part of this beautiful spiritual journey. So do make sure that you do something that fills you with love and joy every day, I would recommend. And thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to speaking with you all again soon. But it's been really wonderful to connect with you, and thank you to all of you that have joined live and to all of you that have joined on replay. It fills me with joy. So thank you so much, and sending you so much love and light, and keep shining your beautiful lights, because we are all shining, all of us connecting here, all of us awakened souls that are shining our lights and sending love, light and healing out into the world. We're doing that just by doing what we do, just by being true to ourselves. So that's really beautiful. But keep happy and healthy. Keep up your routines with your daily rituals and routines of grounding and connecting and your protections and everything else. And if you want to know any more, just get in touch. But lots of love. Bye for now.